killed it. Single-handedly. That harlot's brood slaughtered half my unit.
I see the harlot's brood came close to slaughtering you as well.
Need to withdraw. You and your men. Now.
My duty lies with the city.
Won't help the city by leading your men to the slaughter. Damien, conversation back at the palace, remember? I'll say it again. Your men don't stand a chance.
Men, tend to the wounded and prepare to march out.
Doing the right thing. Now listen close. Silver. That's what you want to use against vampires. Your alchemists, order them to produce as much vampire oil as they can. Churn it out in gallons. Then coat your blades with it. Keep an eye out for Alps and Bruxae. The shapely ones resemble women. There one moment, gone the next. Bombs containing silver splinters are a pretty good idea.
Thank you, Witcher. I hope you're worth the coin the Duchess pledged you. And that you'll return with the head of the wretch that did this, skewered on a hook.
Your problem's my problem now. Leave it to me. I'll solve it.
How?
All I can say just now is I'm gonna need Syanna.
You know the Duchess's decision. Syanna awaits her trial, in custody.
We know it, but we do not agree with it.
You've that luxury. I do not. I've sworn my loyalty to her grace.
Folk are dying. Many more will, because of one.
If her grace learns I helped you, my head will roll.
And ours will follow right after it. Yet still we are prepared to take the risk. I fear we waste our time here. Come, Geralt.
Wait. When last I saw Syanna, her grace was escorting her to the palace playroom.
Playroom? As in, for children? You sure?
I've served in the ducal palace for years. I know its every corner. So yes, I am damn sure.
Playroom? So what, Duchess locks Syanna up in a dollhouse?
Honestly, I've no clue. Look, I've told you what I saw. What you do with it is no concern of mine.
Got it. I'll look into it. You get back to your barracks. Retrace my steps. Path ought to be clear.
And you've our gratitude. You helped us a great deal.
I helped Beauclaire. At least I hope I did.
Let's go, Regis. What the? Found a notebook. Property of Isabelle de Roquefort, court governess. The notes of Syanna and Anna Henrietta's governess when they were little.
I'm not sure it will help, but I suppose there's no harm in leafing through them.
Syanna gave me a drawing today.
Charming.
Of freshly decapitated bodies covered in blood.
Perhaps not so much.
I asked her why ever she would draw such a thing. Her Highness claimed it was a rendering of nightmares which have plagued her for as long as she can remember. Syanna does wake up screaming nearly every night, save when she shares a bed with Henrietta. Curse of the Black Sun. Supposedly girls afflicted by it had horrible dreams. Kind of horrible that made some of them go mad. The girls quarreled today. I must note rather sadly they did not behave as befits future ladies. The incident devolved into fisticuffs. Anna Henrietta was first to strike her sister. Syanna gave back as good as she'd gotten. By the time I separated them, Henrietta had lost 2 teeth. She ran off to complain to her parents. His Grace the Duke refused to believe my version of events. He laid all the blame on Syanna and vowed to punish the little one harshly. Henrietta did her best to have her sister's sentence commuted, but the Duke and Duchess proved unbending.
Once you're labeled a black sheep, it's so hard to shed that reputation.
Mages sent by the Conclave arrived today. They came to examine Syanna. I cannot know what conclusions they drew, but His Grace now seems clearly upset.
Curse of the Black Sun. There's no doubt then that she was diagnosed with the syndrome symptoms.
Or had that label planted on her. It goes on. I dared ask the Duke what would become of the girl. He did not reply. I tutored the girls in Nilfgaardian today. Syanna applies herself so, though she has great difficulty memorizing new vocabulary. Lady Anna Henrietta seems more gifted in this regard, yet also prone to impish behavior. When she thought me out of earshot, she called me a blood accuser. She and Syanna laughed so hard they almost choked. Blooda is damned, or cursed. What's Cusa?
In the melodious tongue of our none-too-friendly neighbors to the south, the word describes the many-petaled flower that blooms in that place we so unmelodiously call the crotch.
Today I accompanied the girls for the first time to the land of 1,000 fables. We spent half the day there. First we played with Thumbelina, then with Barbarossa, who proved quite the charmer for a brigand and pirate.
I'm beginning to suspect Isabel de Roquefort wrote in her diary after taking a powerful hallucinogenic. Cannabis rudelaris, for instance, or...
Shh, don't interrupt. I tip my cap to Master Artorius Vigo for his achievement. He has proved he has no equal in the arcane arts.
Wait, Artorius was the court mage here, a specialist in illusions, which means...
Regis, last warning. Stop interrupting or I'll seat you in the corner. The girls told me if I ever wish to visit alone, I need but crack open the land of 1,000 fables and utter out loud the incantation, Expecto Ludum.
A book as the key to an illusion. My, this grows more interesting by the minute.
Realize this might sound improbable, but maybe, just maybe, Anna Henrietta tossed Syanna into that illusion.
Not impossible. She would be safe there, and isolated. We must see.
Well, since you brought it up, I'd gladly hear the rest. Let's see. They had escorted you out of the duchy.
Yes, and the noble knights of Toussaint, I didn't stop until we reached the Ketdu wilderness. They left me there alone, without a copper, in a torn lace dress, right when the frosts were setting in. They assumed something would eat me, or that I'd do everyone a favor and die of hunger. But as always, I failed to live up to expectations. I wandered the woods for a week, went purple from the cold, gnawed the bark from twigs. Finally, I saw a light among the trees. A campsite. They were bandits, bearded, drunk, spattered with blood. I was sure they'd rape me or kill me, or both.
Take it neither happened?
That's when I learned a robber and a murderer can be a better man than a knight in shining armor. They took me in, we set off for Nazaire, and I did what I could to repay them. I advanced in their ranks rather quickly. Eventually, I became their leader. Of the whole ragged band.
Should have stayed there, maybe.
Perhaps. Perhaps I should have forgotten everything, started a new life. But you know what? There came a point when I thought, you wanted a monster. Then a monster you shall get.
Been through a lot.
I have. And throughout this time, my sister was stomping grapes and shagging minstrels on down bedding.
She wasn't the one to banish you.
And I'm not angry at her for that. I'm angry at her because she forgot about me. Right. We've had our chat. Come.
Care for a cigarillo? A bit of tobacco? A dab of fistek?
Remind me, what tale are you from?
Salt flints when I was a lass. But no one bought them, so I branched out. Now I deal in snuffs, puffs, all sorts of fun things. What'll you have, sweeties?
Magic beans. Do you have any?
If it's not the new name of some kicker I already have, dearies, then no. But maybe you'd like some.
Hey, where'd you get that ribbon? That's mine.
Is that so? Then why was it lying in the bushes? Finders keepers, sweetheart.
The ribbon. Mind explaining what the fuss is about?
There's not much to explain. I got it from Aturius Vigo when I was a child. It was to protect me from evil. It clearly didn't work, given how I ended up.
But it means a lot to you.
How should I put this? I have so few mementos from my childhood, and the ribbon reminds me of the good old days, when I was someone else.
Dears, could you continue this touching scene elsewhere, hmm? You're scaring away my customers.
Give Syanna the ribbon. Why not, huh?
Sugar plum. The only thing I hand out for free is a first hit. To get them to come back for a second, of course. For all else, you've got to pay.
What if I asked you nicely?
Ask me nicely and I might play you for it. A round of cards?
Fine. I'll pay you for the ribbon. This enough?
It's enough. Now go away.
All right. Tell me.
What?
What you want in return. You're not doing this out of the kindness of your heart.
Don't want anything in return.
Thank you.
Portals in a fountain? Not terribly practical.
It was a secret passage. Anna Henrietta and I would use it to...
Hide from your governess, which luckily she noted down in her diary, thus I knew where to await you. Never mind that. Has the young lady agreed to help clean up the mess she's made?
She has. And stop treating me as if I were a child.
Would you prefer I treated you like the lying manipulator you are?
Regis, what happened to your famous manners?
Apologies. I forgot myself.
Let's go. Really want to be done with this. Nice place.
Isn't it? Offers a lovely view of the valley. On a clear day, you can see the outlines of done time.
Is it, though? A ruin like any other, I think.
So sensitive. So aware. Honestly, what did Dettlaff ever see in you?
Perhaps he'll tell you himself.
You nervous?
Mm-hmm. It's always a bit nerve-wracking meeting an ex. Especially so when said ex is a vampire.
I doubt he'll be in the mood for jests.
I know. May I be honest? Yes, I'm nervous. I really would prefer just to run off. I gave my word I would help, I know. But how much is that worth? Yet I owe him this meeting. And that is that.
Let's get ready. Dettlaff will be here any moment now.
which bound us was a ruse.
Dettlaff, it's not that simple.
Oh no, it's very simple. You either deceived me or not. In forgiving you, I grieve. For now, we must part.
What? But how?
The ribbon?
Ha! Seems I've been fooled again. She will pay for this, sooner or later. She will pay! You never should have meddled, Butcher!
Leave him to me. Be gone.
I can't let...
I insist. My, what a smashing ensemble. You wear it well.
Shut up. I look like a twit.
The caftan is sewn of the best fabrics available, and according to the best tailoring practices.
Regis, Bootblack didn't say anything about making deliveries when we talked to him. How do you know he handled the letters?
While you basked in glory and tried on new formal wear, I conducted a little investigation of my own. You'd be very proud to see how I conducted myself. I began by concocting an ample supply of boot wash for our enterprising young friend. I'd observed that among street folk, amidst their society as a whole, reciprocity takes precedence over all other codes, and thus no good deed goes unrewarded. Of course, the same holds true for malicious or destructive deeds.
The letters. What's the connection?
When the bootblack arrived to collect his bucketful, he hinted he knew more. Simply put, we'd failed to ask the proper questions when we chatted earlier. It took a bit more tongue-loosening, but ultimately he spoke. He admitted he'd handed Dettlaff the letters. He knew this information was valuable to me. In providing it, he was simply repaying me.
All in all, why not check up on that? We'll go together, assuming we're done here.
I am done, yes. It lies in your hands now to see if you are able to present my handiwork at the ceremony with the dignity it is due. Or if you will first destroy it, crawling about the city's underbelly.
Promise to be careful.
Oh, it's the swordsman. Good to see you. Here for a spiffing? Dirty boots are a stain on professional dignity, you know. Step on up.
Need to ask you something.
Yet again? Go on then. I'm a proponent of free speech and I will gladly tell you all I know. But why not get your boots shanked while we jabber?
Guess they could use a spit and polish.
Then I shall take advantage as well. A friend of mine used to say boots should be as clean as the soles that wear them.
Clean boots, clean souls. A fine slogan.
How's business?
Well enough. I can't complain. Though it'd be even better were certain folk to sit down for a shine as they stood and chatted.
Man in the frock coat. You passed him some letters, remember?
Why, of course. I'm young, got a mind like a steel trap, but...
If you're about to tell me this information will cost me, forget it. How'd you get those letters?
Beggars brought them.
Why didn't you tell us this before, when we first talked?
You didn't ask about beggars now, did you?
Beggars. Tell us more about them. How many were there?
Why, 4. 1 for each letter.
Just 4? Sure you didn't get a 5th?
I can't count, you know.
Remember anything else? These beggars have anything in common?
What? Come now. Each was different. Some had mismatched boots, others had no boots at all. Oh, I know! They all had no home!
Kid, my patience is starting to run a little thin. Now think hard. Remember what they looked like?
Of course. I've a mind like a steel trap, as I said. They were ragged, unshaved. Their clothes were tattered. As to their boots, well, I mentioned that already.
Geralt, allow me to ask a question. Listen, lad. I'll be glad to mix another batch of that boot shine for you. But you must focus now and tell us all you know. Where can we find the beggars?
Well, at the shelter, most like.
Where's that?
Everyone knows. It's just round the corner. Up those stairs, then right.
Thanks, kid. For your trouble.
You? What do you want?
To talk.
Here, that's a waste of breath. We've tried it, only to tire our lips. We'll use other means of persuasion now.
Gentlemen, calm, please.
Either get out along with these flea-ridden vagabonds, or we'll toss you all out. Our patience is gone. This place is no longer a rank refuse dump.
Scram! Decent folk live here.
The shelter, them living here, bothers you. Question is why.
Look, Ballard. Another defender of the poor. Fighter for justice.
Damn nuisance. We've our women and young folk living next door, when even grown men fear to walk past such rabble.
Decent folk you mention. Mean yourselves?
Why? Do you doubt it?
Hell yes.
Hear that, Artois? He poking insults us. On our own turf.
We should step aside, good fellow. My friend is perfectly capable of settling this unfortunate dispute on his own.
All right. I can take a hint. Come, time to go.
I thank you so much for your aid. I tried to reason with them, but they'd have beat me blue had you not come along. I'm grateful. Immensely.
What did they want from you?
They are neighbors. Wish me to take my folk, the shelter, elsewhere. They dislike that I help the beggars. I do not oppose going elsewhere, were we to have somewhere to go. But you've come with a problem, have you? My turn to aid you.
What is this place? Poorhouse?
You could call it that. They come here to rest and eat a hot meal.
You help them, why?
Because they need help.
Need some information. Looking for a man who might have mentioned the boot black in Rue de Garl.
The boot black. A feisty lad. I know him.
Any of your, wards supposed to meet him recently or soon?
Forgive me. Those I help and I are not so close that I would know. But should you wait, they'll all soon come for their meal. You can question them yourselves.
Sure all your usual beggars will be here?
They're not obliged to come, of course. But they rarely find a decent meal elsewhere. So, almost all in the area eat here.
Thanks. We'll wait. Nice of you to let us.
My dears, I've a matter to address before I serve the soup. These two gentlemen have some questions of you. Pay attention. Answer in brief. For if you draw it out, your soup will go cold. And we wouldn't want that, would we?
Recently, 4 of you delivered sealed letters to the bootblack. I know this.
Does anyone know what the gentleman means? Go on, speak up. Romain?
Why should I squeal? We were all told not to mention the letters. We all swore.
You can tell me, Romain. You were given a letter and you delivered it, right? Good work, Romain. Thank you. Who else?
I got one too. Gave it to the bootblack. Freshie, he got one. But he can't tell you, as he's not here.
I still have mine. I'm to deliver it 2 days after the Feast of St. Barnabas.
It's a matter of importance to the Duchy. Hand it over, or I'll take it from you, plain and simple.
But I was to deliver it personally. Let no one else see it. That is what she said, and she was frightening.
You ought to heed folk who are kind and honest. These men helped me a short while ago, helped all of us. If this individual threatened you, you need not keep the promise you made.
All right, take it. I didn't want to see the bootblack anyways. It's always muddy there.
Damn it.
What is it? Another name, truly?
See for yourself.
Well. I must say, even I did not expect this. This time you will see to our Duchessa. It seems we underestimated Syanna rather grossly.
Judging by this, Dettlaff was literally supposed to tear her heart out.
Yet first you must snap her neck. Puzzling.
Puzzle complete now.
Alas, the matter ceased to be a tantalizing brain tease and has turned incredibly grave. We've proof of a plot to assassinate Toussaint's ruler. We've proof of a coup d'etat.
Duchess was to be Dettlaff's last victim. Syanna planned it from the start.
Indeed. The logical conclusion, Geralt.
4 seemingly random victims to start. The virtue's their only link. Enough to get folk talking about a righteous, vengeful beast. Obscured the victims' links to Syanna, even as she had those she despised killed off one by one, leaving the Duchess for last.
Had she managed to fulfill her plan, none would have questioned the reasons. Most would have thought Anna Henrietta had died for her sins. She was known to show a hard heart on many occasions. Ample proof of a lack of compassion.
Why would Syanna murder her own sister? Out of envy? To take power? From an inborn penchant for evil?
Yes, yes, and yes. All seem likely, and none are mutually exclusive. But if you'd like to know for certain, you could always ask her yourself.
Think it's a good idea? After all, we foiled her carefully planned scheme. Think she'll even want to?
Talk to you? Would it harm you in any way to try? Some philosophers think empirical examination the sole path to knowledge. I believe you mentioned the Duchess keeps Syanna locked up.
Courtiers were insisting on a harsher punishment. Much harsher. Think Anna Henrietta had to protect her sister from a lynch mob as much as she wanted to protect her subjects from a criminal. One way or another, she's locked away in a secluded wing of the palace, awaiting trial before a court of law. I'd need to get past some guards to see her. Coming with?
Of course not. I shall await you at Mille Fiabe. I'll not risk entering the palace after Dettlaff and his minions rampage. Besides, I vastly prefer the company of a simple mug of mandrake brew to that of the Duchess's vile sister.
So, said straight up, it means you're going off to get drunk because you hate Syanna.
I've never been fond of categorical statements of that kind, but I admit I could not vouch for my behavior in her presence. She treated Dettlaff cruelly, caused his death in the end, and now this? Atop all that? No, Geralt. I will not go with you. I will await you at the cemetery.
Have you come to see how I fare? I'm fine, thank you. Artorius' ribbon worked wonders. It's a shame they took it from me.
I know who the 5th victim was supposed to be.
Goodness, you're simply a compulsive snoop. I'm in prison. Dettlaff is dead. Could you not just drop it?
Syanna, stop pretending you couldn't care less. I know it's an act, and it's really starting to wear. Why do you want to kill her?
For such an accomplished investigator to ask about the obvious? Come now, Geralt. Why do you think?
Because she turned her back on you, then banished all memory of you?
Bravo, Geralt. Yet another riddle solved, and your sick curiosity sated. Well, what now? Off to share your discovery with Anna Henrietta? No, she's no longer in danger, true. But she very well might add a little something to your reward.
Definitely gonna tell her. Not necessarily for the coin, though.
Then why do it at all?
She ought to know. If only 'cause you'll probably try to kill her again if she ever lets you out.
I probably will.
Perhaps, just for a second, you could stop dwelling on all the wrongs folk have done you and forgive her.
Why should I?
For old time's sake. You loved each other once.
Please. I don't know who fed you that rubbish, but...
Read your governess's diary. You played together, were inseparable. Anna Henrieta'd get you into trouble sometimes, sure. But there were also times she stood up for you. When you had nightmares, only she could calm you. Time eats away at memories, distorts them. Sometimes we only remember the good. Sometimes only the bad.
If she loved me so, why did she wash her hands off me? Forget me,
Syanna, you were exiled when she was how old? 12? 13? She was a child. What was she supposed to do? Rebel? Organize a coup? Steal your father's seal and forge a pardon? She was powerless. Wiped you from her memory not because she didn't care, but because your departure was traumatic for her. She forgot because that was the only way she could handle the pain.
Ugh. You meant what you said in the Land of a Thousand Fables. You really want a happy ending to this story, don't you? Ah, with all of us living happily ever after. Go, Witcher, or they'll give your medal to another. And that would be a shame.
Farewell, Syanna.
Commander de la Tour would like to see you. Shall we go at once?
Let's go. Want to see him too. Damien.
Geralt, it's about time. Ready for the ceremony?
Your face doesn't look good. Though it looked even worse last I saw you.
I apply a balm of arnica. Yeah, I hardly feel it anymore.
Got some important information. Anna Henrietta was supposed to be Dettlaff and Syanna's 5th victim.
You are certain of this?
Completely. Found proof.
Inconceivable. How could she? The murders, the mayhem she brought down on the city, were they not enough? She sought to strike down her own sister, her liege. Traitor. I must alert my men. Enlarge the Duchess's honor guard. Make certain Silviana is closely watched during the questioning. I'll see to it personally. I thank you, Witcher, for alerting me, and I appreciate your attentiveness. Very well. Let us get things underway. Don your ceremonial attire. Then you'll come with me. Her Grace awaits. In the Guild's name, I beg your assistance, your enlightened highness. Without barrels, production will come to a stop, and it will be the end of us.
You lost them all in the fire. These are horrible tidings. Oh, we are most dreadfully saddened.
Yes, your enlightened highness all. Once the beasts had clawed their way into the warehouse, the whole place went up in flames.
I shall dispatch a palace guardsman to examine the site of the blaze. If things are, as you say, fitting compensation shall be paid from the ducal treasury.
Thank you, your enlightened highness. Your Grace, Geralt of Rivia has arrived.
My dear subjects, we come now to our next point of business. Of all the duties which fall upon my shoulders, as the ruler of this dominion, this duty is dearest to my heart. For now, we shall award the Order of Vitis Vinifera, Tucson's highest honor.
Geralt of Rivia, slayer of the beast of Beauclaire, step forth.
We bestow the distinction upon the Witcher, who saved Beauclaire from the terrible beast. Such is our desire. May this symbol serve as a reminder to all that the Witcher shall forever remain a friend of Beauclaire. In more familiar terms now, I thank you immensely, Geralt. Damien has your reward for you. After all, it was but a contract.
Thank you.
I have a small surprise for you, in addition. I give you more than a dozen barrels of Son Real, a wine normally reserved for the ducal table. The gustatory experience of a lifetime awaits. Are you content?
I am, and truly grateful, Your Grace. Sadly, I'm afraid I have to sour the mood. It's Syanna. She plotted to have you killed, Duchess. Planned to use Dettlaff. You were to be the beast's 5th victim.
This cannot be true. You're mistaken. You must be.
I have proof.
I do not believe it. In a moment I shall speak to Syanna. Will you assist me? You returned my sister to me, yet what you tell me now I find devastating. I've come to doubt that I can judge her fairly. I'd far prefer to learn you're mistaken, Geralt.
I'm not. In fact, I'd recommend you be particularly careful around her.
You exaggerate, Witcher. She is my sister. I know well how to speak to her.
If my presence will help in any manner, of course I'll stay.
We shall now question a person implicated in the murders which recently ravaged our fair city of Beauclaire. Captain de la Tour, show Sylvia Anna in.
The Witcher will take part in our talk.
The Duchess requested I be present.
You have committed crimes. Grave crimes. Yet you are my sister, and my heart does not allow me to treat you as a common criminal. Nor does it let me believe you sought my demise. My heart yearns to know you were swayed by the monster Dettlaff. You yourself would never stoop so low. Thus I have asked Geralt to advise me, as one impartial. I shall now hear what he has to say.
Bitterness consumes Syanna. She had cause to resent many of the court of Beauclaire. I know her reasons, understand them even. But I can't condone the actions she chose to take.
What is he talking about, Syanna?
You know exactly what. I was forcibly exiled, remember? To your benefit. You knew well the throne would then be yours, though I was the elder. The ministers I can understand. They'd hated me since I was a child, thought me a poor prospect for the wife of a duke. I even understand our parents. I'd always sensed the problem. They simply feared me, for I dared to be free. That fabricated curse, it fell into their laps. A gift from above that brought relief. But you... your dagger hurt most. You were my Anna Henrietta, damn it. My darling little sister. Now do you understand, Witcher? She betrayed me.
Claim to understand them all? Why'd you come back for revenge? Have them all cut down then?
They deserved my vengeance. They detested me, all of them, as long as I can remember. But Anna Henrietta understood me. Once. She was all I could cling to. Her betrayal hurt the most.
You were children then. You and your sister both had no control over what happened.
You're wrong, Witcher. She had control. Remember, dear sister, the day they banished me from the palace. Of course, I'd had the idea to pelt the Nilfgaardian envoy with fish bladders, which we filled with rancid suet on a lark. And which you set afire at the last, to impress me, I imagine. And I admit, you did. Hit him right in his hideous bald patch. Never laughed so hard in my life. But when it came time to find the culprit, you said not a word. I took all the blame and all the punishment.
It's true. I did not stand up for you. I was too afraid.
The council was unanimous. They listed all my offenses. My flights from the palace. Supposed acts of cruelty. inappropriate friendships.
They cast me out, but you, the only one to understand me, you cowered in a corner, lifted not a finger to help. Not before, not after. You never tried to find me.
That's not true. I searched for you, sent out knights, gathered tidings from without. You did not wish to be found. Since the day you vanished, I have lived with the knowledge that I failed you. I'm sorry, dear sister. Can you forgive me?